As mentioned in the last lecture, we want to maybe protect some of our routes. And we can use a feature offered by Angular which allows us to run some code at a point of time defined by us. I will add a new file in our root folder and I will name it offguard.service.ts because the code we run there is stored in such a service. I'll name it offguard though because the feature of the Angular router is called guards. It guards certain actions like navigating to, around, or away from it. But in the end, it is a normal service, and therefore, as such, I will export a class which I'll name offGuard. Now, you could add service here to be fully in line with all the other services, but since we will only use this as a guard, I will leave it at the offGuard name. And now here, I will implement the canActivate interface. This interface is provided by the Angular router package, so you need to import it, and it forces you to have a canActivate method in this class. The canActivate method now will receive two arguments, the activated route snapshot and the state of the router, so the router state snapshot. So make sure to also add these imports at the top here from @AngularRouter and to add them here as types for the two parameters we get in canActivate. Now you might ask, where are we getting these arguments from? Keep in mind, we will soon define that Angular should execute this code before a route is loaded, so it will give us this data, and we simply need to be able to handle the data. So that is canActivate with the arguments it requires. canActivate also returns something. It either returns an observable, so make sure to import observable from RxJS. Observable is the correct path in this case. This observable then will wrap a boolean, so it will in the end resolve to a true or false value. Alternatively, this route returns a promise, also returning a boolean in the end, or it returns just a boolean. So canActivate can run both asynchronously, returning an observable or a promise, or synchronously, because you might have some guards which execute some code which runs completely on the client, therefore it runs synchronously, or you might have some code which takes a couple of seconds to finish because you use a timeout in there, or you reach out to a server, so it runs asynchronously. And both is possible with canActivate. You will see an example in a second. So here we want to be able to log in or out. For this, let's say we have another service, the auth service. And this is just a fake service here. So I will name it auth service. And in a real application, this might reach out to a server and allow us to log in or log out and check our current authentication state. I will track the state here too with the logged in property, which is set to false initially. And then I'll add a login method, which will set logged in to true, just like this, and a logout method, which will set logged in to false, to again fake this behavior. And I will have a method which allows us to check the state, authenticated, and here I want to simulate that this takes some time to finish, because maybe we reach out to a server. Therefore here, I will return a promise, a new promise therefore. This promise will, as always, take a method, a function as an argument with the resolve and reject methods we can execute. And in this promise, here I will execute setTimeout to wait, let's say, 800 milliseconds, and then execute another method in which I will resolve the promise and return this logged in. Again, just to fake that this takes a couple of seconds to finish, or some time to finish. So, with this auth service added, I now want to use it in my auth guard. And as this is also just a service, we need to add injectable to be able to reach out to the other service to inject that service into this guard. So make sure to import add injectable from Angular core. And then I will add a constructor to my auth guard where I reach out to my fake auth service here, of type auth service, therefore make sure to add this import too. And now in the canActivate guard, I simply want to check whether the user is logged in or not. So here, I can reach out to my auth service to the isAuthenticated method which again, keep in mind, returns a promise. Well, therefore we should return this promise here, I guess. So it returns us this promise. And here, I then want to be able to handle that whenever this promise in the off service resolves. I know that there I will get back a Boolean. So this authentication state, this logged in Boolean is what we resolve here in the end. And this could be false or true. So I know that I will get back a Boolean. And here I then want to check if this is true, in which case I want to return true. And otherwise, I want to navigate away because I don't want to allow the user access to the route he wanted to go to originally. I will navigate away to force the user to go somewhere else. So I will inject the Angular router for this because this is how we can navigate with the navigate method. Make sure to add the import from @AngularRouter. And then here we can navigate with the navigate method. And let's say we just want to go back to our root page with just /. So in this case, our canActivate method will navigate away. And I will now simply return this promise it still is in the end. Because if we return something inside of the promise, it will give us back another promise. So now we're returning a promise here, which gives us back true, or simply navigates us away, canceling the old navigation anyways, therefore. So this now allows us to control access to whatever is controlled by this canActivate guard here. Now, we're still not using this guard, of course. So to use it, I'll go to my app routing module. And now we want to define which route or routes should be protected by this guard. And we do so by going to that route, it's the server's route and all its child routes, and adding canActivate this property to it. Now canActivate takes an array of all the code, basically, all the guards you want to apply to this route, and it will automatically get applied to all the child routes. So here, canActivate will use my off guard. Make sure to add the import here, pointing to your file. And this will make sure that servers is now only accessible, and all the child routes, only accessible if the off guard canActivate method returns true in the end, which will only happen if in the off service logged in is set to true. Since this is set to false, and right now we never call login, this should always deny us access. Now, before trying this, we need to go to our app module and add to the two new services we added. So add the off service and the off guard, which also is a service. Otherwise, Angular won't be able to inject them for us. So with that set up, let's go to our application, click on servers. And I can click there as often as I want. I can't reach it. Users works, but servers always navigates us back to home after these 800 milliseconds. Because that is how long it takes to resolve the information whether we are authenticated or not. We defined these 800 seconds here. So our guard is working. However, on our whole servers tab, now I want to be able to see the list of servers and only protect the child routes. How can we do this?